Hello Sixers fans! Sixers basketball is officially back as we just finished our first preseason game last night against the Boston Celtics. Unfortunately, we did lose 106-114. However, I am not mad about this loss, and I don't think a lot of other Sixers fans are, considering the fact that Joel Embiid, James Harden, D'Anthony Melton, and Furkan Korkmaz were all not playing last night. So the fact that we kept up and held our own at 106-114, and it was really a back and forth game, was actually leaving a pretty positive impression on me in terms of the next few preseason games and the overall season that is coming. So we're going to talk a little bit about the game. We're going to go good, bad, ugly. And we're also going to talk about somebody who did not particularly stand out to me, which is Kelly Oubre. And the reason I say that specifically is because when asked how Kelly Oubre is going to fit in with this Sixers team, he responded with, "I don't see myself fitting in. I see myself standing out." And I just want to talk about the implications of that statement and again how it's tied into last night a little bit. Now, before we jump into everything, I wanted to just say that 86% of our viewers are not currently subscribed to the channel. So if you are part of that percentage, please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all things 76ers. Now, let's just jump into the game. So, in terms of standouts, I will definitely say Tyrese Maxey looked great. He continues to be, I think, a player that other teams are watching, hoping that they will get him. I hope that the Sixers literally never trade him because he just continues to improve and is just I don't know if it's self-proclaimed, but the Sixers PR loves to call him Philadelphia's golden boy, and boy is that correct. I have yet to find a Sixers fan that is not completely in love with Tyrese Maxey. Anyways, Tyrese Maxey led the Sixers last night with 24 points. He was 3 for 9 in his 3-point attempts. He shot 52.9% field goal percentage and 100% from the free throw line, which are all numbers that I expected from Tyrese Maxey, considering, again, that Embiid and Harden were out last night, so I was expecting him to be the scoring leader, but he just solidified himself as, again, somebody who is definitely an up-and-coming all-star candidate, and we love Tyrese Maxey. A kind of breakout star a little bit in a sense, somebody who surprised me was Jaden Springer with this absolutely nasty block on Jason Tatum last night. I don't know. I didn't know Jaden Springer had it in him. I don't know if Jaden Springer knew he had that in him, and I really do not think that Jason Tatum knew that Jaden Springer had that in him. So definitely defensive play of the game in my eyes. Definitely really impressive. I know that Sean here has hyped up Jaden Springer as well, so definitely excited to see more from him. And yeah, definitely a lot of really positive things we could take from this game, even though it was a preseason loss. Then I want to talk about Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre only put up 6 points last night, and I wanted to just, I actually was kind of going into this video wanting to just talk straight Kelly Oubre, so let's just jump into what I have to say. So again, the quote that I brought up was when asked about how he was going to fit in with this Philadelphia team, he said, "I don't just see myself fitting in, I see myself standing out." And you could take this quote two different ways, and I've seen people take it both ways. The first way you could take it is you could be the optimist and say that Kelly Oubre is saying that he's not going to fit in, he's going to stand out because he's going to work super hard and he's going to do super well and he's going to prove to Nick Nurse that he should be a starter, and that's all that means, and That's great. Or you could be the pessimist and look back at Kelly Oubre's history and reputation in the league. According to sportsgamblingpodcast.com, their 2022 article rating the worst ball hogs of the league, Kelly Oubre did not only make the list, he actually topped it at number 1 on the list. And he has the stats to prove it. If you look at his assists, they have never been over 1.5 per game throughout his career, while his points have drastically increased and improved over the past few seasons, with his high being last season at 20.3 points per game. You can look at specifically his 2-point percentage just hovering over the 5-0, and just kind of the narrative that's being put around, which is that when he has the ball, he's going to shoot it, and he just does not have the shooting percentage that he needs to really justify it, I guess. And yeah, so this is concerning for Sixers. You know, I am very, very interested in seeing what Nick Nurse does with this team. I know that Nick Nurse knows all of this about Kelly Oubre, and knows probably the whole narrative, and I am interested to see what he does to kind of tone that back a little bit and really, you know, integrate him into this team. As we saw from the training videos, which I highlighted on my last video, definitely check that out as well. Highlighted some of the training camp footage that came out on social media. I was really focused on James Harden's presence in those videos, but one of the things that a lot of people had said about that training camp footage is that in terms of movement of the ball and just overall fluidity and we have not seen that type of ball movement during Doc Rivers' time at all, and this is really the first time that we've seen actually inspiring training camp footage. So in terms of how we think that Nick Nurse is going to affect this team, I think Nick Nurse is going to have an insanely positive impact on this team, and I'm interested to see what kind of relationship he does end up building with Kelly Oubre, and again, if he can kind of, you know, take this reputation of being a ball hog and really turn it around. And lastly, in terms of Kelly Oubre, I hate talking about this. I hate talking about, players' very interpersonal lives. But we have to, just because the beef is unfortunately real. Yes, there is some pretty deep beef in terms of James Harden and Kelly Oubre. The woman that Kelly Oubre is married to and has 2 children with is the ex-girlfriend of James Harden. And again, a lot of this is speculation, but that fact is true. I've heard some crazy stories that, Kelly Oubre met her at James Harden's party, some crazy stuff like that. I'm not going to comment on the validity of all that, but what I will say is that from what I have gathered, this woman did mean a lot to James Harden, and that the beef there is legitimate. So, if James Harden is actually playing for the Sixers, of course, he did come to training camp. He did not play last night, but he has been at training camp. And while trade rumors have just kind of been up in the air, that has been the statement on where the trade talks they've been very stagnant for the past few months. So I don't even know what to trust anymore. I'm only going to trust the fact that trade talks are on their way until I get an actual very definitive statement that the deal is almost done. But what the point is that, yes, the beef is real, and if James Harden is staying with the Sixers, I don't want to say I'm interested to see if Kelly Oubre and him can work it out. I will say that I hope they can work it out, and yeah, I feel bad for that whole situation. That seems very, very ugly. I know there's some thoughts that Daryl Morey did this on purpose to piss off James Harden. I'm not gonna get into that, but yeah. So I guess that's kind of where I'm gonna wrap things up for today. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Are you worried about Kelly Oubre's past and his reputation in the league? Do you think that it can be fixed on the Sixers? Do you have high hopes with Nick Nurse? Or are you taking the more pessimistic route? Or did I completely read far too much into that quote? Definitely let me know what you guys are thinking down below in the comments, and I'll definitely see you guys next time. Bye!